I don't think it's live yet. Am I live yet? Not sure. Live. Looks like I'm live. Am I live? Well, I will send a message just in case. And looks like I'm here by myself. Okay. Has it started? How do you tell if it started? Okay. Well, just in case some people arrive. So I wanted to follow up on this video series that I did for this summer. Again, I'm trying to figure out if I am. Isn't that funny? Are you live? You don't have access to this feature. Okay, then. Oh, no. I am live. Okay, I am live. Oh, my gosh. Technology channel. Hi. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay, Tony. Tony's here. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know if I was live. I guess I'm live now. I have received so many amazing, wonderful comments. I was like, there's no way I can reply. And I thought, well, maybe it's Friday night. We're kicking back, right? Maybe we go live and I can read some of these amazing comments. Very good advice, by the way, too, about did I buy a haunted house? Did I buy a house of mysteries? Like what's going on in my house? But, some of my videos talk about what I've seen in patients at the end of life and kind of the mysteries from that. So let's see who's here. Oh, hey, Kevin. Hey, Kim. Woodland Poetry and Books. Oh, I love that title. Sue, Colin, and Billy from the Ozarks. Oh my God. The Ozarks are really cool. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here. So I thought I would start with kind of reacting and reading some of these. Hi, Lois and Denise. Some of these, and Christy. Hi, West Central Minnesota. Oh my God. Love Minnesota. Okay. In fact, I have a really good friend that lives in Minnesota. But if you know my videos, you know I talk a lot. So I'm going to have to keep refocusing myself because you guys aren't here. David, yeah, the haunts and ghosts for sure. I love it too. Well, you guys, let me read this comment. It's kind of amazing. Okay. Make sure I'm close enough to the microphone because I know that's an issue too. By the way, I work today. I'm a little bit of a wreck. So excuse me. Okay. I bought my house 24 years ago from a church. First, it was flickering and exploding. Exploding light bulbs. I went through an entire case of them in a month. Oh my goodness. I hired a master electrician to check everything out. Took him all day, but he found nothing. Then stuff would disappear and reappear. Banging, slamming doors, stuff like that. You could hear arguments when you were alone in the house, only you couldn't hear the words. Sometimes hymns were being played. I don't spook easily, this commenter says. One morning, I wake up and there are 3 angry scratches on my back, from my shoulders to the small of my back. Okay, let me mark that right there so I don't lose the space. What do you guys think? I've said it before, I'm a big fan of the paranormal and the ghost shows. Well, sort of was a fan. I've had to back off because I had, I don't know, some weird stuff go on. So I kind of had to back off that a little bit. But I always thought if there was 3 scratches, like that wasn't a good thing. I don't know what your opinions are. Hi, Valentina. Um, and then they said, yeah, I couldn't have done that myself, but I was chatting with a friend when a blood-curdling scream came from my daughter's room upstairs. I launched myself up the stairs, went into a room where she was cowering on her bed. There were hundreds of what? This comment. Okay. Is this real? Like there were hundreds of spiders running in formation out of her light fixture across the ceiling and down the walls. Oh my gosh. Is this a movie? It looked like a horror movie. Well, yeah. I grabbed the kid and we got out. I went back in alone and killed all of them. Then I went to the neighbor's house, lived there 48 years, and said, what is up with my house? This commenter is saying this. She was a tiny Italian lady, her hubby, former mafia. She smiled and said, I was wondering when you were going to ask me. The minister and his family had lived there. The church had been the only owners, and they had adopted a child from India. They also had a daughter. The boy's room had been my daughter's room. And as the child grew, he looked, what? Okay, you guys, I'm just reading this comment. I don't really understand it. As the child grew, he looked more and more like a monkey. By the time he was a teenager, he was bullied, laughed at, and stared at. He wanted plastic surgery, but the wife and the minister was against that. One summer, the family went on vacation, but the boy refused to go. When they got back, they found him. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, so I'll be careful of how I say this. When they found him, he was let's just say he deleted himself on a light fixture. Okay. I got a hold of the Catholic exorcism rites, and me and my best friend sent our kids to church and got to work. Again, if you're new here, you just joined us, we're reading a comment from a viewer. So then me and my best friend sent our kids to church and got to work. She was in the basement, me upstairs. The plan was to meet in the middle. I get to my daughter's room and go in. I felt a firm hand on my chest and I'm literally shoved out of the room. Oh, no, you don't. I go back in. I'm louder. Same time I hear my friend get louder too. We finish. The kids come home and my daughter, first thing she says is, wow, it's so light in here. I now buy a light bulb maybe once a year. Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, how do you respond to that comment? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Kim. A spirit didn't want them there. Woodland Poetry and Book says, I've been told the scratches are a sign of an infested home. This poor lady. Yeah. Alligator Horse says, I bought this farm 28 years ago and found the house was used in the Underground Railway, haunted, but we're used to it and love our place. I think that is so fascinating. And I would love to interview someone that has a house from the Underground Railway. I mean, the history. And can you imagine how brave you would have to be to run a house that has the secret rooms and the Underground Railway? And I talk about in my video that I do have a secret room. It doesn't have a heroic story like that. I wish it did. But, one of the reasons why I do love my house is because it does have so many mysteries involved in it. And okay, so we're going to go and we're going to read another interesting comment from a viewer because it's just too much for me to respond. By the way, if that viewer is watching, that that comment rocked my world. Okay, so here's another comment. I lived in a nearby town. We had the same problem and it only got worse. Research showed that there had been polygamy, a stabbing, and it was near an old temple where there had been sacrifices. Believe me, there's only one thing you can do: call a Catholic priest, but you yourself don't have to be Catholic, and ask him to bless the house. If that doesn't do it, then he will have to get permission from the bishop to do an exorcism. That's what I had to do. Don't live with that, please. That was from another viewer comment. I don't, I honestly don't know what to do in that case. But the one thing I will say is I think I can share. I don't think my husband would mind. My husband's Catholic, and I was not brought up Catholic. So, and I've said it on my videos before. It's not a secret. I was brought up Jewish. However, I am now Christian. So there you go. I think I'll do another video about like the crazy stuff I found out with 23andMe because that was crazy. But when I go to my husband's church with him, it's a vibe. I mean, first of all, the rituals, the sense of like love and camaraderie, and it is just beautiful. I happen to go with my other friend who's Christian, and she goes to, I want to say it's a Lutheran church, and I love going to her church because they are very open and accepting. Where, I made some inquiries into, and I don't know if you've experienced this. Comment over here if you have. Oh, hi Kim, Sage the House, yeah. That really to be called Catholic, and again, I could be wrong here. I am no Catholicism expert, but I'd have to take all these classes and go through all these steps. And can't I just go to church? I mean, so I mean, I think the Catholic religion is beautiful. Again, there you go. But when I go to my other church, well, it's actually my friend's church. I go with her. I just feel really welcome there, and you don't have to jump through any hoops. You can just be like, I'm here, like, yay. So that's what I'll say about that. I'm no expert in religion, but by the way, being raised Jewish, Judaism is a beautiful religion as well. And it's so funny, being raised Jewish, I didn't know that Jesus was Jewish. No, we again, we didn't go to temple all the time. We went when I was a little kid. There was no mention about Jesus being Jewish. I didn't find that out, and I'm embarrassed to say I did not find that out really. I want to say until college. I know I'm embarrassed. I know, but um, I took a class in college called Religions of the World, and that's when I learned about that. So anyway, I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent again. See, I told you I would go off on a tangent. Uh, but so yeah, I don't know if you have a haunted house, do you need to call in a priest? Um, I honestly don't know. I don't think it's the worst idea. Honestly, though, I know with the Catholic church my husband goes to, I don't think the priest would come out here. I don't think so. But you know what's amazing, and maybe it's possible. Oh, let's see, alligator horse. I'm Catholic. To be Catholic is to be guilty about everything. It isn't an easy religion. Okay, same with Judaism. It's all about the guilt. So it's probably why my husband and I get along really well because very similar traditions and backgrounds. I have to say, Judaism and Catholicism has a lot in common. So, Christy says, please just plead the blood of Jesus, Yeshua, in your home. Demons fear his blood and name. Well, Christy, you're going to have to enlighten me because I don't know what that means. Isn't that terrible? However, I did take some time, and my friend that brought me to her Lutheran church took me to a Bible study, and I was super intimidated. And I love my friend, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll go." And it was an overnighter, and I was all thinking it was going to be like class, like studying on a test. And I have to say, it was fun. They were just telling stories, and they were funny. And I don't know, I've thought so different about all that. But back to if a priest would come to a haunted house, yeah, I don't know, but I don't want to give. Oh, Deborah says yes. Okay, well, good to know. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The priest at my church impressed me so much because I don't want to give away. If my husband comes home, I'm getting him on this live chat because he needs to tell you about his experiences we've had in our mysterious home. But the priest, I want to say, saved my husband. And it's, you know what? I'll let him tell that story. Okay. So we're going to go to another interesting comment because there's so many of them here. Let's see. Oh dear. Yeah. See, people are commenting to my original video that went viral, the one where I titled it the last thing the patient said before passing away shocked me. I don't know. I think there's thousands of comments on that one, and I have to say, like, it shocked me because yeah, he was in bed, like at heaven's gate, and then all of a sudden he's running around the room drinking water, asking for his clothes. Yeah, him talking was shocking to me. So someone commented to that. It said, your story is so similar to my late mother-in-law's case. The day before she passed away, she was in her best condition. We almost couldn't believe what we saw. She was taken to the hospital because she suffered from chronic asthma. She fell and fractured her hip. That night, she was so well, she even made jokes and said that tomorrow she was going to be discharged from the hospital. What happened the next day, she fell into a long sleep and finally passed away. Yeah. So that is a very common thing. And many of you have probably seen that with family members. Again, working in hospice for 10 years, we would see that a lot. But my first video that has over 1 million views, which I still can't believe, like what in the world happened there? I was a brand new nurse. So seeing that to me was shocking. And it's funny because people are, yes, this alligator horse has all the good answers. Terminal lucidity. Yes, terminal lucidity. That is correct. But when you're brand new and you've never seen it before, it's really shocking. It really is. And I still can't explain because the patient that happened to, he was, sometimes when I tell stories, I want to be entertaining, but in all seriousness, he was bedbound. He was not responding. He was unconscious. Now, again, this was so many years ago. So I'm doing this from like this memory is burned into my brain. But to see someone go from like, oh, this poor man is not talking, he's not walking, he's not getting up, and we're trying to just keep him comfortable and clean. And then I look in his room and he's running around his room. That's just not a thing. If you've ever had a family member that was hurt, maybe they're in a rehab center or debilitated, and like there's no way they can't transfer out of bed without a 2-person assist And then you look in there and they're running around their room, drinking water, looking for their suitcase and their clothes. Yeah. Tell me that's not shocking. And then, yeah, it, it is shocking. Uh, oh my gosh, you guys, I have to read this comment. Someone commented on did I see a spirit accidentally caught on camera? And they said, didn't see the phenomenon you're referring to. Too shocked by your hair in that video. Yikes, they said. You have come a long way, and so has your hair. Thank God. And then they said, thank God. Oh my gosh. So I don't even know what to say to that. I'm like, yeah, I know you guys aren't here to talk about my hair, but I'm 56 years old. Your hair gets thin. I'm sorry to break it to you, but yeah, those of you that are my age, yeah, I don't have the hair I had when I was in my 20s. Yikes. Okay. Um, let's people can be funny. I'll just say that. Oh, Christy, let me see. Just declare aloud that your home is under the protection of the blood of Jesus, Yeshua. Demand aloud that any evil leave your home. Same goes with your workplace. Um, this is going to sound weird, but I almost feel like I don't even know how to say this. Like, who am I to say that? Like, I think that they would just think. I don't know. I just feel like don't you have to be a professional religious person to do that? Like, but thank you for the advice. I just would feel like I don't know. Like, can I do that? Like, I guess you can. I mean, I have talked before how when I make videos, I say only goodness and light around me. I don't want any negative entities, no bad vibes, and even real human people in my life. If they're super negative, and as you get older, don't you find this? I've kind of let some people in my life go because I'm too old. I can't deal with the negativity anymore. You know how you learn to say no as you get older. So, okay, let's look at this comment. This was off my patient, what they said when they passed away video. My mom had a heart attack and was being treated in the hospital. I left and came back. She suddenly seemed fine, but she asked me to use her phone for her to message family for her. And as if she knew she wouldn't need a phone anymore. And then she went to heaven that night. You know what's interesting too? Because I've had some people comment that they feel really bad that their loved one passed away and they didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I have to tell you, you can be sitting by the bedside, have the whole family around the patient. And as soon as the family's like, okay, they're sleeping peacefully, we're going to run downstairs and get a coffee really quick, or I'm going to run down and feed the meter. As soon as they leave the room, a few minutes later, the patient passes away. A lot of patients, and I know this is anecdotal, I can't prove it. A lot of patients wait till you leave the room to pass away. And some of you may have experienced that, but that's a common thing that happens. Cindy says you have to let them go. Alligator horse. Wait until you're 68. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Well, I have a lot of wigs. So in case my hair keeps falling out, I am prepared with the wigs. I can tell you that. What I don't like is what's happening with my teeth, because that's not fun. Okay, so here's another one on that same vein. My brother William passed away, and he had only the hospital gown on. So his daughter and I went to buy him some new clothes. So he wasn't just in that gown. His wife was there before he passed, so she never knew that we had dressed him in a white long sleeve shirt and black dress pants. After he passed, she was visited by my brother and said he was wearing a white shirt and a black pair of pants. Oh my gosh, the spirit visited the family member in the last outfit they put him in, so he wasn't just in a hospital gown. I love that comment. That's awesome. That's pretty good. So we have a lot of Jesus comments, which is great. Can I share a story again when I said I'm embarrassed because I didn't know Jesus was Jewish? I'm originally from Chicago. I think I've talked about that. And when I moved out here to Phoenix and I was in school, I was a young child. It was a culture shock. And there was a bunch of kids in front of the classroom I was going into. And I was the new kid. And they were like, who are you? And, I'm like, Andrea. And they're like, well, I don't know how we got on the topic of religion. I don't know how they asked me, and I was like, "Well, I'm Jewish." And they're like, "You killed Jesus." Oh my gosh. That was I'm not going to say traumatic. It wasn't traumatic, but it was like, "Okay, what a great way to start school. Everyone thinks I killed Jesus." Like, yeah, that was awful. So, I just thought I'd share that story. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh is right. So here, oh gosh, here's another amazing story. Uh, My mother told That's another commenter. My mother told me people who are about to pass away, like the next day before they pass, they'll have so much energy and feel so good. And she thinks it's the body's last ditch effort to survive. The same thing happened to her. It was like 1 or 2 days before she died. And she told me, she said, "I've had the best day I've had in years. And it didn't cross my mind until later. And then she passed away. It was either the next day or the day after." Yeah. So a lot of people have commented on that video and said it's terminal lucidity or the last surge or the last bit of energy. And yeah, that is definitely a common thing we see in patients getting ready to pass away. Not always, though, because sometimes people are on so much medication, whatever your opinion is on that. But they're not having the surge because they're in they're in a fog of medication. The other thing to know about hospice, usually we take them off all their regular medications. And you know what's interesting? And I've seen it time and time again. Sometimes the patients get so much better, they graduate off hospice and go home because we took them off 30 different medications. Uh, that's happened and that's common. So do with that information what you will. uh, okay, let's see. Oh, this is a good comment. I'm going to read this one. Okay, someone commented, "Definitely creepy, and I love it. I have a lot of ghost stories, though I think of myself as a realist. I have high standards for what I'll consider paranormal or mystifying. As for the hand on your husband's chest, I was saying in my one video that my husband was laying there and a hand hit his chest. So she's referring to that. That happened to me several years ago," she says. "My husband was snoring, so I slept on the sofa in the living room. When he left for work very early in the morning, stomping around a bit and waking me up, he came and put his nice warm hand on my heart. And he never does that. When he came home, I told him how sweet that was. I had been thinking of it all day. And he said, 'I didn't do that.'" That's a great comment. And also, that's super spooky and awesome altogether. Okay. Let's see what we're saying here. "Jesus was the founder of the Catholic Church. He told Peter that he would be the rock upon which I will build my church. Peter was the first pope of the Catholic Church." And then Florence says, "No priest needed. Just talk to the spirits in a firm tone, and you can burn sage to get rid of the unwelcome, noisy spirits." Huh. Okay. You know what I'm kind of leery of is I don't want to be messing around with what I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, if someone came in with high blood pressure, I know what to do with that. Type 2 diabetes, I know what to do with that. Spirits whispering my ear, which has happened, I don't know what to do with that. Like, so if I just run around the house and burn sage, which is weird because I do have some sage right over there, I don't want to make things worse. Or, saying out loud, which, I do say things, but I don't say them in a certain way because I'm not Catholic. So, um, I guess I'll leave that to my husband to do. Uh, yeah. Okay. Another thing, I had to take a video down. If you all saw it, it did get 100,000 views, and there was a few comments. People were very, I guess, scared, disturbed. Um, I guess I'll say it really rocked their world. And it was talking about, what I saw at a particular facility when I went in a patient's room. And I had to take that video down, not because anyone told me to, but my whole goal here is I'm not trying to disturb people or I don't know. I still haven't figured out what I really want to do with that one. And I don't want to sensationalize what happened to a patient. But at the same time, I want to be truthful, and the reason why I changed the trajectory of my channel was because I want to talk about truth. You get to an age, and again, I'll say it again, I'm 56 years old, and you get to an age, especially if you're in healthcare, which I've been in healthcare forever. I want to tell real stories and I want to tell the truth. And but I got so many comments on that one, like, how dare you talk about a patient like that? Well, I did not give any patient identifiers out. I was talking about how I'm going to briefly tell this, how the facility called me out. I was on call, got a phone call. Hey, you need to come out and help us. Nobody will go in this patient's room. Well, what do you do with that? Right. And then when I get there, the staff is telling me, thank you, Cindy. The staff is telling me, yeah, no one wants to go in that room. No one wants to go in that room. Um, Here, I won't sensationalize it, okay? I guess maybe people get upset, but when I am entertaining and tell a story in a sensationalistic way, here's the facts. Get out to the facility. I can't talk. It's been a long day at work today. And they're like, yeah, the CNAs don't want to go in the room. The nurses don't want to go in the room. They have to go in the room because they have to do their job, but nobody wants to go in there. And we don't know what to do with this patient. And I'm not giving out any HIPAA information. I'm not saying the name of the patient, the name of the facility, the name of the staff, but I'm going to tell the truth. And so, how do I say this without triggering people? Do you ever walk in a room and I don't want to sound woo-woo, but it's heavy. The vibe is, dare I say evil? I'm going to say the vibe is dark. The vibe is dark. The energy is heavy. I'm not saying that the patient was evil. I'm not saying that. So let's be clear. That's my dog walking by. He's like, I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm not saying the patient was evil. I'm saying the room. And I'm glad I took that video down because I guess I didn't clarify. And everyone thought I was saying, like, how dare you talk about a patient like that? No, I did my job. I cared for the patient. I helped the facility. But that room, yeah, I don't know if I've ever experienced, well, and maybe I haven't. I can't remember. But so if you've ever walked into a house, I'm going to come back to this in a second. I remember I had to do a home health visit on a patient. And when I walked in that house, the vibe was heavy and sad and depressed. And the thought that came to my mind was, oh, this man's wife passed away. I bet you this man's wife passed away. And you could almost feel the grief. You could feel the grief in the air, if that's even a thing. I know when my dad passed away, like, I don't know what kind of vibes I was putting out, but when I walked in that house, you could feel the grief and the sadness. And he was an ambulatory patient. He was walking around the house and I was talking to him, going through his med list, seeing what refills he needed, how's he doing? And, what services can I get for him? And then I don't know, I can't remember how I brought it up, but I was like, oh, are you married? And again, the conversation ensued and he let me know that his wife had passed away. And I was like, oh yeah, I knew it. You could just feel it in the air. So going back to my other patient, when I walked in that room and the vibe was really heavy and dark, and I had to talk to the staff that, yes, you guys, you need to do what you need to do. And like I said in the video, what they told me was, and again, I wasn't there. I didn't personally hear this, but what they told me is that the patient said he was yelling and yelling, the kids in the van. Oh my God, the kids in the van. And now again, he was yelling and screaming that. He had what I will call terminal agitation. And in hospice, there are many medications that can help with that. There's Haldol, Thorazine, unfortunately. Sometimes the benzodiazepines like Ativan, clonazepam, Xanax and all those, sometimes it can make people worse. Usually it's nice and calming to most people, but it can do the flip side onto people too. Haldol as well. Haldol can do the opposite. So, I can't say he wasn't having unusual drug reactions. He might have been, but long story short, his needs were addressed. But I just thought it was really interesting that The staff was very afraid to work with him. He was yelling about the kids in the van. And, I guess I just kind of wanted to clarify that story that, because I took that video down and I still think that was the right decision because, again, I don't want to be sensationalistic and I don't want to freak people out. Like, I know when I watch certain shows, I'm like, I can't watch that anymore. I'm going to have nightmares for a week. But thank you, Shelley. Yes, exactly. Like the whole thing is, I need to be careful. I want to be careful. But at the same time, I want to talk about my true experiences because here's the other thing. And I would love to know your all's opinion about this. Um, I feel like we are living in very interesting times. And my friends, sometimes my patients, I'll talk to them about this. The amount of anxiety and depression through the roof. I have so many people that talk about trouble sleeping, insomnia, anxiety, stress at work. But it's more than that, don't you think? I feel like times are changing, and I know I feel it in my heart and my spirit because was it maybe the pandemic that set everything off? But I feel like things kind of even started even before the pandemic. But I feel like interesting to say the least. Yeah, exactly, Shelley. I feel like we're kind of like a bell curve. Like you come up the bell curve, and I don't think we've reached the top of it yet. Maybe in November, when the election comes, we're going to reach the top of that bell curve as far as the amount of stress, anxiety. But I feel a lot of people have more interest in what happens when we get ready to pass away, what happens as we get older, what's happening with my loved one. I don't know. I feel like, and again, I am no expert in saying the veil is thinning. I know that's a term, but what I will say is because I personally have a private practice where I see lots and lots of patients, and I have to tell you, it's people. It's very different now, and I do work with the younger population as well. And I would say since the pandemic, it's a different generation now. Where it's a different generation, and if you're over the age of, I'll just say, I don't know, 40. Maybe 40. If you're over the age of 40, you can remember a time when we didn't have all this technology and cell phones and the ability to argue with each other online and all this stuff. Um, okay, not to go too off topic. I'm going to read some more of the comment reactions in a second, but let's say some shout outs right now. Let's see. Janny Moon, hello there. Have you experienced a shared death experience? I have not. I know on who's that hospice nurse? She's got a great channel. I've talked about her before. Hospice nurse. You guys know hospice nurse. Not Hadley. She might have had one, but it's the other one with the blonde hair. Ay, isn't that terrible? I can't remember her name. No, yeah, Hadley. I love her. Hospice nurse Julie. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, I think didn't one of them have a shared death experience? Listen, I've seen a lot in my career. I never had that. So it's kind of a bummer. Linda, hello from Alabama. Hello, Alabama. Scott, oh, South Carolina. Awesome. Yeah, I know. Taking the spirits with you. Yep. Kim asked for the protection of the Holy Spirit. Yep. Cindy, hello. Joe. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Oh, everyone's saying Julie. Okay. Alligator Horse said she had a heart attack in 2016. She doesn't let anxiety over things. Okay, that's so weird that you said that because I was talking to people at my one work, which I don't want to mention because I'm not trying to like get my work involved in what I'm doing on YouTube, but I was talking to someone. I said, my theme this year is to not stress out over things I can't control. That's so weird that you said that because that is going to be my theme this year. Yeah, no, agreed. Because I'm a worrier. I worry about everything. I don't know if you all are like that, but yeah, it just doesn't help to worry. Hi, Mustang from San Antonio. Jean from Florida. Oh, God, we got the whole country here. This is awesome. Beverly, hello. I'm the one who wrote the comment about seeing an angel at my mother's bed. Oh, okay. That's amazing. Now, truth be told, I've never seen an angel. And it's weird because I have an obsession with Archangel Michael, but I have never seen an angel. I've had some experiences with other things, but not an angel. And I hope I do before I pass away. I hope I do. But if I don't, then it's not meant to be, and that's okay. But that's so amazing that you saw an angel. I love that. Oh, alligator horse is a he. Sorry. How do you know? I don't know. Um, yeah, Cindy agreed. We've got Colorado in the house. Someone said ghosts love pajama parties. Hello from Maryland. Maryland's in the house. And Camano Island, Washington. That's cool. I don't know. Okay, so let's get back to another fascinating comment. Oh, you know what? So many people commented on my video where I talked about I finally found the mystery of this house. When I did the research on it, and I found all the newspaper articles, and I did some research on am I legally allowed to talk to this? If it's a public record, you are. But I'm still going to protect names because I know I happen to know for a fact this family is still alive and around. And but yeah, so someone was killed in my house, and the person involved went to prison for manslaughter. And someone made a comment on my channel that said, it may not have been manslaughter, but they were just charged with manslaughter. And that's a really good point because I don't know the specifics of how that person passed away. But I thought that was a really good point. I had a lot of realtors comment in that it depends on your state whether they need to disclose if your house is haunted or if there's been a crime like that in your house. Believe me, I love the realtor that sold this house. In fact, I loved her so much. I had her sell the house I was currently living in because I just thought she was really nice. But I don't think she knew. I honestly don't think she knew because no one showed us the secret room either. And you would think as a realtor, like you want to show every room that's available in the house, don't you? Let me move my chair. You would think you would want to show every room because it's like, oh my gosh, you could use this as a panic room. A lot of people commented, use it to store up food and water. Oh, don't think I haven't been doing that for years. No. I'll do a side note on that just because I do work in healthcare and I care about people. Um, because I said times are a changing, right? Times they are a changing, aren't they always? I think it's a very good idea to always be prepared. And because in healthcare, we're trained to be prepared. And so what do I mean by that? Well, case in point, I live in Arizona. It gets really hot here. And we've had, I'll call them brownouts. There's nothing official, there's nothing been on the news. But in this house that I'm in, we've already had the power go out this summer for no reason. And it is hot here. So this is the time of year where monsoons start happening. It is so humid and hot outside. So the other day, again, I'm really bad with timelines. So I said the other day, it was probably 2 weeks ago, power went out. But guess what? I was prepared. So I don't want to go into the specifics of what I have, but we were fine. So all I'll say is while you can still, and again, I'm no expert on this. I'm just, listen, when you're a nurse and I'm a naturopathic physician, by the way, how we're trained is to always be prepared because, trauma can walk in. You got to know what to do. So yeah, I think it's very good advice. Fleming Island, Florida. Hi, Kathy. Oh, and Tennessee's here too. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. The secret room would have been a great selling point. So that's all I'll say about that is be prepared, right? Be prepared. Yeah. Okay. So where were we? We were talking about, oh yeah. So yeah, I don't think the realtor knew I had a secret room because I think she would have said, you can use this as a panic room or a storage room or whatever. So I don't think the realtor knew. I'm not mad. Again, we've had experiences in this house, but I'm not about to move, and because I'm not, I I'm not an evil person. I feel like I'm a good person that, I'm not worried about demons around me. Like, and I'm not trying to not trying to taunt anybody. But no, I think like I've said it before in my comments, I think they would be incredibly bored around me because yeah. There's nothing interesting going on except, caring for patients. That's it. Um, Oklahoma's here too. Hi, Melba. Uh, and Beverly is originally from Maryland, but she's been in Florida. What is the weather like in Florida? I would really like to know because it is so hot and humid here in Arizona right now. It's Friday night. Um, it's just too hot to do anything. I was going to go ride my bike because I like to stay, I don't know, fit, strong, right? Because I don't want to fall and break my hip. Too hot out there. I thought, well, I'll do a live stream instead. Oh, heat index was 110. Ooh. Michael O'Connor. I think that's my husband commenting in. Mike, if you're in the house, you got to come in here and tell your story of what happened with that spirit, because I'm not going to tell your story for you. But put on a shirt before you come enter this live stream. Well, it's hot out. Okay. So yeah, but still love the house because it's full of mysteries. There was one other video I took down because I don't know, I got some feedback from some friends and family that I trust, and they said, you got to take that down because it just sounds too out there. And I was talking about how I was asleep in my bed, and when you sleep on the side of your bed, I love sleeping on my side, and your face is just almost hanging off the bed. And it was pitch dark in the room, and I swear this is true. I heard right in front of my face, mama, like the creepiest mama, but in a whisper right in my face. So at first I thought, well, is that my son? Because I have children. Um, and I was honestly afraid to open my eyes because it was such a creepy sound. Well, I finally did open my eyes. There was nothing there. My son wasn't there. And my heart was like just beating. I'm like, what would do that? Like, what in the creepy, like, what was that? So in my one video, I talked about that. And then and again, this is why I stopped watching ghost shows. Because again, asleep in bed. Oh, there's something I haven't told you yet. I'll say it on this live stream. Well, anyway, I have felt things jump on the bed before. I've had pets that have passed away, and I swear the way my cat, I used to have a half Persian, half Himalayan cat, and the way my cat would jump on the bed, it felt exactly like that. Well, anyway, I had to pump the brakes on the ghost shows because I thought I don't need that. I don't need that. But the freakiest thing why I said no more for a while, because I have you guys, people have commented if you watch those ghost shows that you can actually bring that energy into your house, and I do believe that. I do believe that. But I was sleeping one night and I was having a nightmare that I was in the ocean and there was this dark shadow entity like trying to pull me into the deep end, and it was pulling my leg. And I was like trying to pedal, how you splash backwards to swim backwards. And he kept pulling me deeper. And I thought I knew I was going to drown, and he's trying to pull me into that darker part of the ocean. And something woke me up because something was pulling my leg. I woke up, my leg's in the air, and something was pulling my leg. True story. I have not ever said this on a video yet. True story. I told my husband about that too. I'm like, you are not going to believe what happened to me. After that, no ghost shows, and especially in my bedroom, no ghost shows. Nope. Didn't need that. That was not good. I wasn't scared. I didn't feel like that dark, oppressive evil in the room. It was nothing like that. But yeah, I don't now scientifically, okay. Yeah, I guess you could be dreaming and sure, people sleepwalk and all that. Yeah, could have happened. But the fact that it wasn't just my leg was raised, something was pulling my leg, and that's what woke me up. So that's why I'm like, yeah, that wasn't some kind of sleepwalking situation. No, I don't think so. Oh, Scott says my dog visited me after passing. She slammed me like she used to. I know. I think our pets could be around us, and I don't think they're demons. I really don't. I've had nothing but the best pets, and they're just little angels, aren't they? Because they just love you unconditionally. And I think they're still kind of looking out for us. I really do. Um, let's see. So Ohio says it's stormy and humid there. Really? Okay. And then we have Kathy, been a nurse for over 40 years, hospital hospice. I've seen plenty of ghost spirits, but I have since I was 7 years old. Oh my gosh, Kathy, I want to hear some of your stories. Let us know. Tell a story. I love that. It's interesting too because I don't work in hospice anymore. I did hospice for 10 years. And my 10th year, I was pregnant with my second child. And I remember, I'm not kidding you, I was 8 months pregnant. I was as big as two houses seeing patients, and uh, that was it. Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah. So I don't do hospice anymore. It was the most incredible, amazing 10 years of my life. The stuff you see in hospice, you just don't see in the urgent cares and in the hospital. Um, Again, I'll defer to hospice nurse Julie and hospice nurse Hadley because I feel like they have a much more gentle, professional way of discussing hospice where I don't know, I'm just all over the place kind of. But now I work in family practice. And so I see mostly adults and I'm a naturopathic medical doctor. So I just see, you know, just regular medicine stuff. And so I don't have supernatural experiences anymore with my patients like I used to with hospice. But Kathy, I bet you have seen some amazing things and I would love to hear about it. Woodland Poetry says, I'm that way with doctor shows. I get every symptom they talk about. I know. And didn't I used to love that show House. I don't think it's on the air anymore. And his attitude, I mean, really, those of us in healthcare know you can't talk to patients like that. You'd be fired, but still such a guilty pleasure show. I used to love that show. Oh, alligator horse. Okay, let's talk about this. He says the most terrifying thing that has happened to me on occasion is the old hag syndrome. So, isn't it interesting because I am extremely familiar with I'll say the somnambulatic state or the hypnagogic state and night terrors. And I don't want to out who this person is, but I have someone very close to me that had night terrors like I've never seen before. And I feel like when you're in the hypnagogic state, that state between waking and dreaming, that stay with me here because this is just a hypothesis, okay? I feel like your spirit kind of expands and a part of your spirit can access the fourth dimension without sounding like weird. And I don't know if that's true. It's just a hypothesis. So if that's true, and entities that live in the fourth dimension, and when I say fourth dimension or fifth dimension or whatever, I'm referring to, I guess, again, because I've heard about Catholics talk about this, but you Catholics kind of like correct me because I may not be correct here, but there's heaven, purgatory, and hell. Is there another waiting room? I'm not sure. I don't want to go off on a tangent because I want to come back to what you're saying about the old hag, but I saw a documentary about purgatory and it broke my heart. And it was, oh gosh, I wish I got the name of it. I'm going to have to search for it because they said souls trapped in purgatory. Well, we have to pray for them. And if we don't pray for them, they can't move out of purgatory. And I just thought, well, that is the most tragic thing I've ever heard. So I don't know. If you're Catholic, please respond because I just think about that all the time. Like I worry about people that don't believe in, let me say this better because here's what I truly, truly believe. I do believe we have a spirit and a soul, and I do believe in God. Okay. But here's what I also believe. Um, I believe you live in the world you create. So just like what I was saying, when I watch ghost shows and scary shows, I think I can almost invite or bring that energy in, and then I'm going to experience that. Or, if you're a half glass empty person, you're going to live in a kind of a negative, like everything's half empty, right? But if you're positive, do you see where I'm going with here? Do you see what I'm getting at? So if you live in a life like, of course there's angels. Of course there's God. Of course there's a light. Of course it's better on the other side. I feel like when you die, like you're going to experience that because that's your like mindset. And again, I could totally be wrong. This is just stuff I think about. Whereas if someone's like, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in that, then would they go to purgatory, or do they just see like all darkness? Like, I don't know. I think about this all the time. But the really cool thing is when you do hospice for 10 years, and when you're, and Kathy, the nurse who's on here, will maybe she'll be able to chime in here, that patients will tell you the most like they raise their hands up. They have the most like excited look on their face. Like they just got the best the best ticket, or the e-ticket at Disneyland. I don't think they have that anymore, but like the fast pass, like, and I'm getting chills thinking about it, because how can there not be, like, you see this, like, ah, like they're about to go to this amazing other realm or heaven or whatnot. But I just think it's probably so much more than even our minds can comprehend. I really think that. And that's so weird. I just saw a like button pop up on my screen. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. So low tech. Okay, let's see some of the comments here. Oh my gosh, Quebec is here. Canada. Yay, Canada. Hey, we have a lot of people here in Arizona that come from Canada. And Canadians are so friendly. We love them. Kenji still binge watches House. Yep, love House for sure. I'm right there with you. Alligator Horse said, after my first experience with that night hag, I slept with a light on for 7 years in my 30s. Okay, I'm sorry, because I went off on a tangent. Let's go back to talk about the old hag. So what? Hundreds and hundreds of years? I don't know how long in history. Many case studies, stories, reports of someone waking up and seeing like this old evil woman sitting on them or in their face or whatever. I'm going to throw out some terms. I've heard of there's succubus, and what's the other one? Ugh, there's the other one. I can't remember. So they're like evil spirits that come and then they sit on your chest and choke you, and people say like their body was paralyzed, but they were awake and see it. So here's what I think might be going on. For sure, when we're sleeping, certain things need to turn off. So we're not walking around the house and driving the car while we're having a dream. So yes, that is a thing. The body has a way of keeping you kind of still when you're dreaming. And if you incubus, thank you everybody, incubus and succubus, yeah. And so I think that's the real term for these the hag, and then people say that they see the evil person with the hat or whatever, the hat man or whatever. Um, but So when your body is in the hypnagogic state, like say you abruptly wake up, but your body has not caught up yet, I think you can. So remember what I said, I think the spirit can expand and pierce other realms. So here your body's physically still frozen, because that's what happens for the most part when we're in deep REM dream state. But your brain is still connecting to the other side. So you're literally, it's just my opinion, it's a theory, because I think about this a lot. And by the way, they didn't talk about this in nursing school or when I went to a 4-year in-person naturopathic medical school. Nope. So, nobody was allowed to talk about the spirit and the soul, so we're all having to just guess, unless you're, like a Christian or a Catholic and you kind of have it all down, which that's not how I was raised. So here I'm trying to figure out everything after the fact. Hi, New Mexico. Brooks from New Mexico. Let's see. True Blue says, I'm not Catholic, but I'm Christian. I've watched interviews with several exorcists. Call the Catholic diocese or the church in the area, asked to remove it. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's a channel where they interview an exorcist. It's gosh, I forget the name of the channel. And I watch this guy all the time. He has black hair and I think he's really funny, but I don't know if he's meaning to be funny. That interview blew me away because the priest was so humble and he's got amazing exorcist experiences. Yeah. Alligator Horse, praying for those in purgatory is supposed to lessen their time and yours in purgatory. Okay, well, good to know. I think there are Jewish exorcists. Anyone know? Yeah. Again, being raised Jewish, the religion in our house was medicine, reading, mm, and being successful and working hard. I know that's weird to say, but that was the religion in our house. And so there wasn't a lot of talk about, except on Hanukkah, there was a lot of talk about God on Hanukkah. And like, we were told the story of Moses a cajillion times, which is an amazing story, by the way. Um, but it's so weird. I always wanted to know. I was like jealous of my Christian friends. I was jealous because Christmas would come and we didn't have lights or festivities or didn't go to church, and everybody was having these, and I was jealous. I'm like, what's the big deal? What's everyone talking about? So as an adult, I was like, I'm going to look into this. So anyway, I didn't convert. I just was like, everything I believe in, I was just like, I know I'm going off on a tangent. I gotta get back into the mode here, but I very much feel like I am a Christian because I do believe in Jesus, and I think it's so cool that Jesus was Jewish. But of course, the Christian religion is because Jesus Christ, he's Christian. But so I feel like, hey, it's not a huge leap that I was brought up Jewish and now I'm Christian. It's not a huge leap, right? Okay, so so I had never heard of a Jewish exorcist, no, but it wouldn't surprise me because in the Kabbalah, which is a very again, we never talked about that in our house too. I didn't even know what Kabbalah was until I was an adult. It's the mysticism and like the really old traditions in Judaism, which is really interesting. Okay. Sorry, guys. I went off on a tangent. Okay, so MMME says, when in purgatory, you will leave eventually. Length depends on sins you must learn from, but prayers and mass help them go to heaven faster. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, so Kathy had an experience with the Hat Man, a watcher, when she was 7. It touched down her back with bony fingers. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine being 7 years old and having, no, I can't. That's awful. I'm sorry that happened to you, but that's so scary. But I completely believe it. I completely believe it. Mhm. You know what? You know what is good to know though, and I'll just say this about hospice too, is hi, paperclip. I know who you are. What I'll say is this, is that in hospice, I would say 99.999% of the deaths were beautiful, um, peaceful, loving. Even patients that didn't have family and friends, like they were just alone at that part of life, they had staff with them, whether it was a hospice nurse, the chaplain, because our hospice chaplains were amazing, hospice volunteers, because we had them too. So, if you're worried about being alone at the end, you won't be alone. There's enough of us that care and won't leave you alone. Okay. So don't worry. It was maybe 3 out of the thousands of patients I saw, maybe 3 that I would say the energy wasn't beautiful like the others. And, but is that so much of a shock? Because look at, there's some people that follow laws, follow rules, raise families, do unto others as you do unto you. And then there's other people that think it's okay to break all the laws and do whatever they want. So is it a big shocker that when it's the end of life and someone's passing away, that some people are having a different death experience than someone else? I don't think it's that shocking. So Janny Moon is watching from Spain. Oh my God, me encanta en España. Oh, I love Spain. I have actually been to Spain quite a few times. It is, if I didn't live in America, I would live in Spain. So you are very lucky to live there. I love it there. I hope it's still as beautiful as it was. I haven't been there in probably, gosh, time flies, doesn't it? Haven't been to Spain in 20 years. I hope it's still like, I remember paella, my favorite dish, expensive, but really good. The bread there was so good because our bread in America, it's loaded with, well, I'll be careful how I say this because I don't want to get banned on YouTube. The bread in America, I'll just say this, is not like the bread in Europe. Okay, everybody? If you have the opportunity to buy your bread from Spain or Italy, your gut is going to feel so much better. It's so much different. I don't want to go into specifics because I'll get shadow banned. But I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. Jesus wasn't Jewish. He was a Jew. There's a difference. Well, thank you, Deborah. Jewish. He was a Jew. Um, Jewish. He was. Oh, because well, I would love for you to expound on that because again, I have said it before. I am not the religious expert, but I'm constantly learning, which is always good. I definitely want to know more. Scott says, my daughter saw the shadow man when she was a child, solid black, tall, with an Abraham Lincoln hat. What is the deal with the hat man? My own theory initially, my theory was okay, because centuries of people that passed away always wore hats. It's only until recent times that not everybody wears these big hats. That was my first theory of why everyone's seeing the dark shadows with the hats. But then this is going to sound really weird. If you watch these alien shows, people are saying when they have been abducted, they saw a hat man. So it makes me think, all the videos coming out lately on all these popular YouTube channels that talk about um, the, oh, where am I? Don't you hate that when your brain just goes hiccup? like I'm offline now. When they say aliens are really demons and stuff like that. And angels are like the good aliens, I don't know, something like that. And I don't know, I kind of think there may be something to this. Could 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 it be possible that it's not aliens and they are supernatural spiritual beings because they've been depicted in paintings from the 12th century, they're on cave walls. Um I really think that that's a possibility. Now, I'm not saying that I think there could be a possibility of life on other planets. Again, I've always talked about one of my favorite movies is Contact with Jodie Foster. I love that movie. And, Carl Sagan talking about like, there are as many stars as there are grains of sand on the beach. And, how selfish would it be to think that we're the only ones here? But it's so crazy. All these new theories coming out about that we're living in someone's mind. And do you remember when the astronauts said and again, I forgot what astronauts said this, but they were in space and they said space smells like burnt steak. And I'm like, if we're living in someone's mind, wouldn't that make sense? It would smell like burnt steak because I don't know. Anyway, but I think there is some correlation with the Hat Man and aliens, and I think there's correlation with aliens and demons. And if you all I don't know what your opinion is on Tucker Carlson, but I watched a fascinating interview. He was on the can't remember Sean's last name. He was in the military and the CIA. He's got a show on YouTube. Sean, if you guys know, please comment. I can't remember his name. That interview was fascinating because Tucker Carlson does not believe in aliens. He thinks they are spiritual entities. So there you go. I'm not saying that means anything, but there you go. Okay, so let's get caught up here. Read on the Benadryl experience, the 700 Club, and the Hat Man. Okay, because I have not heard of that. Let's see. Paperclip. I know. 45K. Like, what in the heck? What happened? Oh, and since she just commented that on the 45K, those of you that are watching, not even a month and a half ago, I had 1,200 subscribers. And a thought came over me because I was talking about medical stuff and nobody cared. I was talking about like how not to get osteoporosis or, which vitamin might help your brain or how to not get dementia. And nobody cared. So then finally I was like, you know what? Nobody's watching me anyway. I'm just going to talk about what I want. And I love talking about spirituality, spirits, ghosts, hauntings, that whole thing. And wouldn't you know it, a month later, 45,000 subscribers. So it just goes to show, speak from your heart. And that's why I'm here and we're talking about it. Okay, Chris says the Jewish exorcism ritual is performed by a rabbi who has mastered Kabbalah around the possessed person. The group recites Psalm 91 3 times and then the Ra Shofar. Wow. Okay. Isn't that interesting? I never knew that. I literally want to call up my family that's Jewish and be like, why didn't you guys tell me any of this? No, because even at the dinner table, like my family, like we had books at the dinner table, like, the biggest thing you could do is like want to go into medicine and become a doctor. Like that was the religion in our house. So I just love now actually learning about religion. Okay, so Jesus was Jewish. Jesus was born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth to a Jewish mother. Okay. Jewish. Okay. So, yeah, and I have not, getting back to the Hat Man, I have not seen the Hat Man myself. I've not seen that. I did talk about a video where I was coming home from a patient's house, and in the passenger seat, some type of dark entity was waving at me. Now, I'm not 100% sure that's what was going on, because I do have to admit it was the middle of the night, like close to 3 in the morning. And, um, I talk about in the video of how I swerved and I almost hit the police car, and then he pulled me over. But it was weird because driving home, I kept seeing it, and then I stopped because I was freaking out. I stopped at I don't know, like a Circle K to get a coffee, and it was still happening on the way home. And then weird stuff happened at home. You can watch the whole video. It's called, I changed the title of it to Did I Drive a Did I Drive a Ghost Home? Did I Drive a Ghost Home? I thought that was funnier. But that's the closest I saw to like a dark, well, the entity was a dark color. Like it wasn't this beautiful white glow. So I don't think it was evil, though. I just think it was like dark. Deborah says Jesus was born a Jew. He wasn't bound by the Jewish law. He would go to synagogues and teach. Sent him to save us from the law. He included Gentiles. Thank you, Father. Huh. Okay. Can you talk about your opinion of lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences? Yeah. So on a really old video, I do talk about lucid dreaming, because I am a lucid dreaming experiencer. So if you guys don't mind, in the chat, you can put a thumbs up if you've had a lucid dream, or just put a heart so I know like how many people have had that. So my first lucid dream, it was in my 20s. You're asleep, you're dreaming, and all of a sudden you're having a good old time in your dream. And then you're like, wait a minute, trees don't fly, or, whatever weird thing you see in your dream. Cause I can't even remember which dream I had, probably flying. And you were all of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, I can't fly. Oh my gosh, I'm dreaming. Yet you don't wake up. You're still in your dream and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm flying. I'm dreaming. What should I do now? And, so that's just kind of lucid dreaming. And, you have Paperclip had so many. She had like 7. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's interesting. Sean, thank you. Scott from South Carolina says the Sean Ryan show with Tucker Carlson. That's right. You guys have got to watch that interview. When Tucker said that, yeah, no aliens, that they're spiritual beings. Yeah, I'm on board with that one. I really am, because I used to really just believe that there was just other life out there, but I kind of think there's I'll twist it here, that there's something else going on there. Okay. Get Smart says, I think I did as a kid. Time seemed to speed up and be slow at the same time. Oh my gosh, look at all the people commenting that they've had a lucid dream with those hearts going. And I don't think, did you ever read that book by that neurologist that passed away, and then he basically was flying around with this woman holding him by the hand, and he was actually, I'm sorry, he didn't pass away. He was in a deep coma because he had a terrible infection in his brain. And I know his book has a butterfly on it. Gosh, what's the name of that? You guys, I'm the worst with like remembering titles. Alexander Eben, Dr. Eben, his book. And so really similar to a lucid dream, because he talks about how when he was in coma, he had the experience of flying over this beautiful green area where there was people and flowers, and he was flying and he was holding someone's hand that, I don't want to give anything away, but if you ever read his book, yeah, Eben Alexander. Yeah, I can't remember the name of his book though. It's a fascinating book because he was I think he said he was an atheist, right? Neurologist, and he was just Mr. Science, and didn't really give any credence to like spirits or near-death experiences or anything like that, until he went into coma and had that experience that he said was more real than real life. And because, if you're a scientist or a doctor and you haven't worked in hospice, or you haven't been around like a shared death experience, like someone mentioned, then you don't know. right? Um, why did I go off on talk? Oh, because of lucid dreaming. So what he did in his book, what he describes, really sounds a lot like lucid dreaming. But there was so much more in his book and information he got when he was alive and he got the answers. There's no way he could have known some of these things. So I think, to me, my theory is I think lucid dreaming is kind of like entering like the first like the waiting room of the heavenly realm, I guess I'll say, where it's like, because I've never had like a dark or an evil experience while lucid dreaming. It's all been super light, just flying around. And I remember once too, I was standing on a beach in the ocean, and the ocean waves each had a different color of colors I can't even describe, like every color you can think of, and then more colors I can't even put a name to. And as the waves were rippling, there was all those different colors. I still think about that lucid dream because I'm like, oh, if that's what the ocean in heaven's going to look like, yeah, I'm all about that. That's awesome. And it was such a real dream too. Lucid dreams, you just feel like you are in another realm. And yeah, okay, fine. It could be something that happens in the brain, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think it's something else. Imagine Heaven by John Burke. Great book. Oh, okay. I haven't read that one. Um, let's see. Kathy says angels are from the fifth dimension, but off-worlders are in third and up. Kathy, is an off-worlder an alien? I don't know what that is. Could you answer that? David says he actually has several interviews here on YouTube. Are you talking about Eben Alexander or Tucker Carlson? Because I don't know. Okay. Oh, and here we go. Washington State. I'm the guy that defined manslaughter, recommended Gregorian chants. Okay, I did see your comment. I did. But honestly, I'm too scared to do that. I'm too scared to do that. I play a lot of music around the house. I've said it before. I'm an 80s girl. I play a lot of 80s music around the house because the nice thing about 80s music, it's super positive, uplifting. I always feel good. And I like rock music too. Yeah. I like beautiful music too. Gregorian chants are beautiful music. I'm just afraid, like, I don't want anything to happen. But if playing Gregorian chants will just like raise the vibration and maybe clean out my house, I'm all about it. I think, okay, I'll give it a whirl. Why not? So, paperclip. Wait, one time I heard the trumpets through a dream and I still remember it, but I don't know how to play the trumpet. I know what it sounds like. And if I learn, I'll post it. Huh. That's amazing. Cause don't they say like the sound of trumpets? That has something to do with angels, right? Yeah. Let's see. Life is a gift. Tucker has a channel on YouTube. Oh, yeah. He does have a channel on YouTube. I love his channel. But his interview on Sean, right? Sean Ryan's show. You have got to see that. Like he's not holding anything back. He's saying like he kind of, he knows influential people in politics and government and very important people. I mean, he worked at Fox News forever. He met a lot of influential people. And I can tell you when he said he doesn't want to investigate aliens anymore, he doesn't want to know about it anymore because he says, because he knows what it is. They're spiritual beings, and there is such a thing as good and evil. I think he was privy to a lot of confidential information you and I don't know about, but that we do know about. You know what I mean? To me, that interview is fascinating. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Oh, the rapture trumpets. Eee. Okay. Well, I'm worried that, let's talk about the rapture for a second, shall we? My take on it is I'm probably going to be left here. I really do. Because I feel like I'm going to need to help so many people. I don't want to leave all these people behind that are going to need help. I'm just going to feel bad. I always feel bad about everybody. So I know. Tucker's right on that, says Shelly. Yeah, I think so too. Because he doesn't have anything to lose or gain by saying those things. Look, he is at the ultimate of success. He can admit, like, yeah, they're demons, not aliens, right? I think he's just saying it like it is, just like I'm saying it like it is. And you know who I like watching too now is who's the gal with the long blonde hair? She has her own show now. She used to be on Fox. Is she Irish? Oh gosh, what's her name? Real pretty. She's a lawyer. She had the movie made about her and the other two. Oh, isn't that terrible? Because I watch her all the time. I cannot remember her name. Oh, Megyn Kelly. Thank you, Megyn Kelly. If you've watched some of Megyn Kelly lately, oh my gosh, like she has come so far from when she was on Fox News to now. She just tells it like it is, tells it from the heart. I mean, she's dropping F bombs. Yes, life is a gift. It's Megyn Kelly. She's just telling it like it is. Isn't it funny? So now we have Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly coming off of Fox News, and now they just say whatever they want. I just love it. The truth will set you free. I just kind of love it. Yeah. So yeah, she is unafraid for sure. Yeah, exactly. Patty wrote, I like watching Channeling Eric on YouTube. He's on the other side. Okay, Patty, I am a member of that channel as well, Channeling Eric, because right, that's Dr. Medhus. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Medhus. If you guys don't know the YouTube channel Channeling Eric, she's a medical doctor and a very smart lady. Again, she's another truth teller. She tells it like it is. Her son, I'm not going to give anything away. You can watch her channel, but her son is no longer with us. And her channel is fascinating because she's a doctor. So she's another one that's just telling it like it is. So yes, I am very familiar with her channel. I watch her channel. Some of the things, though, there's a couple things because, it's good to be open-minded. I'm very open-minded, but some of the things, the scalar healing, I don't know a lot about that. So I'll just, but I still love her. I still like watching her show, and I don't know everything. Maybe scalar healing is where it's at, but I don't know a lot about that. Okay. Let's see. Alligator horse. Music matters. I use Beethoven's Symphony No. 6. Pastoral on one of my photography videos, judging by the low number of views, music matters. Huh. Okay. Well, I tell you, if you have a YouTube channel, don't give up because, here I was making videos, like in the last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to really start putting out some videos. And I know a lot of them are silly. But I'm going to leave them up because it is what it is. Right. And you just never know what video is going to hit. And when I finally decided, you know what? No one's watching me anyway. I am going to talk from my heart. I'm going to talk about spirits and ghosts and my haunted house and my secret room and what I saw when people pass away. And yes, there is evil on this earth. Now all of a sudden my channel's getting views. I think people resonate towards the truth and they can smell my shirt. I need to sit up straight, but I'm trying to get near the microphone. I think people can smell it when it's not the truth. Yeah. So there you go. But so yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you have a channel, just don't give up because you never know what video is going to hit. You just never know. Okay. Okay. Paperclip. One time I tried astral projection, but I ended up having like this lucid dream or something, kind of reality shifting. Okay. I can't say that I ever astral projected. I've had a lot of people comment lately, though. They're like, don't try to do that because you can't really control what might come into your body while you're kind of out of your body. And that kind of made me cautious. So I've even have people say when they've meditated, they had a negative experience. So I say that it's probably not the worst idea to make sure that whatever your religion is, that, you put a little prayer out there, make sure you just have to the highest good, light and love around you. If you're going to meditate, because the other side is real. And if you're playing with it, then I think, evil might have a way to get in. Right. So there's that. Thank you, Shelley. Teresa, I found you through your spirit videos. Oh, thank you. Thank you. See? Yeah. finally talking about like what I love talking about. And it's hard because, being in healthcare, I don't get the opportunity to talk about, except when I did do hospice, there was a lot of spirituality discussions in hospice. Um, and, but in general healthcare, like when I worked in the hospital, the urgent cares, and now I have my own primary care practice as well. Yeah, there's not a lot of discussion about spirits and ghosts, and because um, and I hope that changes soon. But people just think, oh, you're just so not scientific. Like you're supposed to be a doctor. Like have some professionalism. You guys, I have had some crazy comments. I shouldn't say crazy comments. I've had some mean comments I've had to kind of get rid of because, yeah, I don't need that. Here I am just trying to tell the truth of what I've seen because, when I was younger, and I'll say it again, just in case you're joining the channel right now, that I am 56 years old. When I was, say, 26, so let's say 30 years ago, would I have loved it if a preceptor or a doctor that was training me said, hey, by the way, there is such thing as spirits and ghosts, and you may see them in your work. Yeah, that would have been great. Instead of me having to see things for the first time, being like, oh my gosh, God is real, heaven is real. Like, I mean, I guess it was fun finding it out that way anyway, but I don't know. I think it should be part of the curriculum, and it's not. The most we learn so we have neuroanatomy. So when you're in medical school, you take neuroanatomy and we dissect the brain, and we do dissect bodies as well. Yeah. At least they do train us. You have to be very respectful and professional in the cadaver lab. There's no messing around. Like whatever you see on movies and TV shows, at least when I was in school, I mean, maybe times have changed, right? But when I was in school, um, there was no music being played. We were very professional. You had to have your lab coat on, your gloves. You only talked about the assignment. You got in there, and then we would gently wrap the cadaver back up. We were extremely professional. And I say that because I guess in a way, all the reverence and tradition in a way was like the science religion, really. But yeah, and as far as the brain goes, yeah, like there's the pituitary, there's the pineal gland. Here's where memories are stored. If you get, here's where words come from, and anyway, and all that stuff. But nothing about like, well, where's the seat of the soul? Where's the spirit? Yeah, no talk of that. No, it was extremely the reality and the physical. But I didn't like working in the cadaver lab because of the smell of the preservatives. It's got to be very toxic, and we had to be in there for 2 hours, and then if you weren't good at anatomy and neuroanatomy, you could go on your time in the afternoon and work in the cadaver lab, which no, I did not do. Um, yeah. I don't know. I liked anatomy, and I think I had a little bit of an easier time because I was a nurse first, and you know how you have to take some anatomy and what to get into nursing school. So it wasn't as bad. So I have so much more to say about it, but I don't think I should because I don't want people to get in trouble. Okay. But I will say that we were very professional in the cadaver lab, if that makes you feel better. And so people that donate their body to science, and if it goes to a university or a medical school, the bodies are treated very, very well, at least when I was in school. There was a huge, I know I'm all over the place right now, but I have to say this. There was a company here because I worked in hospice, and when patients would choose to have their body donated to, like, say, science, there was a company here, and I'm not going to mention the name because I don't have all the facts in front of me, and I don't want to do hearsay or gossip. But they weren't storing the bodies how they should be stored, and they weren't going to the it was supposed to be for medical research, tissue samples and stuff, and they weren't ending up there. I'll just leave it at that. And they weren't being stored right. So this was in Arizona. It was a big, huge controversy. Okay, enough on that. The moral of the story there was we didn't talk about spirits and souls in school, in medical school, in the hospital, anywhere. And if we did, it was like on a lunch break with someone that you kind of got along with, was on the same page, and you're like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see that spirit leave that body? I'm kidding, but you know what I mean. Okay. Let's see what people are saying. Scott says, ever see the spirit of the dead person standing next to the body? I see that on TV shows on haunted healthcare. Um, huh. I know there's another hospice nurse on the chat here. Kathy, if you want to answer that, go ahead. I never saw that. Like I said, I think a patient came with me home because, and I talk about that in a video, but I never actually saw anyone standing next to their body. Um, yeah, no, I did not see that, which is good. Well, they make those shows so sensationalistic and kind of scary. It's always so dark. In the hospital, it's always very bright lights. Yeah, and at night we turn down the lights a little bit, but um honestly, usually when people pass away, it's just very beautiful. It just is. And I think we have the spirit encounters kind of after they've already been kind of taken away to the mortuary, really. But I could be wrong. Sue says scalar healing, yes. Okay. I don't know much about it, so I don't know. I might look into it. Brooke says, my dad during medical school in Kansas City, he did embalming as a job for extra money. Oh, wow. Yeah. Hopefully. Maybe they were different chemicals then, but I doubt it. I just remember they were so toxic. Let's see. A Life is a Gift says, God is real. My heart stopped in bed while sleeping. I floated above my body. I didn't want to die. At the moment, a bright light appeared and Jesus appeared and said, go back. It's not your time. What do you think about this? I believe that our soul signs up for this lifetime and everything that happens to us. And, that our time when we pass, it's already determined. And so, it's good to lead a healthy lifestyle because then you have more quality of life. That's like why I ride my bike, because I want to be able to ride my bike when I'm 75 and 85. So if you're not riding your bike now, you won't be riding your bike then. So I think it's important to be healthy and eating healthy because I do like to sleep well. And when you don't eat right, it just doesn't feel good and then your back hurts. So, but I do think that our time is kind of pre-written and that you sign up for that. Do you guys think that? Do you believe in that? Curious. Val says, I love your channel. I looked into donating my body after I was gone, but because of my disability and all my surgeries, it doesn't sound like I can. Okay. Well, yeah. Because honestly, I know it's a gruesome topic, but in the cadaver lab, by the way, I never saw a ghost in there and I didn't have a bad vibe in there. So thank God. But the bodies were, even though, yeah, I think all of them were elderly. They were, but they were very pristine. And yeah, so but honestly, I think if there was something wrong, it would have been a learning experience as well. I don't know. Okay. Oh my gosh, Scott from South Carolina. Dead person pressing the call bell is another popular topic. So that happened. So when I worked in the hospital, nurses would always talk about this, like the one haunted room. And I've talked about that in the video too, that there was one room that the water always come on. And I was like, I'm not going in there. Let the water run. I know we live in a desert, but I'm not about to go in there. But yeah, call lights would go off too, and nobody was in there. And that would happen in a lot of rooms, actually. And you have to admit, you could chalk it up. It could have been like, did water get on the wire? Faulty technology. But there was always a piece of me that thought, oh yeah, someone's beeping that call bell. Someone from the other side. Yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay, okay, I don't know what's going on with that discussion. Okay, Deborah, some have understood the sons of God to be fallen angels and the Nephilim are the offspring they produced with human women. I do think about that a lot, like the whole Nephilim, all the shows and all the reading I've done about that. I've thought a lot about that. I'll just put it as that. But well, I do kind of think about this too. So there's many fossils of, because you can do carbon dating, dinosaurs, sea life. We found that, but we've never found giant skeletons. Those things that are online, Those are, doctored up and stuff like that. So, now maybe if they did find something, they're not letting the public know about it, you know? So, yeah, there's that. Um, yes, I wanna go to heaven too, I know, because that's what it says where pets go. I think because what did I read something about that your dogs and cats or pets in general, because they unconditionally love and they're just innocent, that, and they just live by their nature, that, they're not I don't wanna say they don't have free will, but they don't have, like, that moral choice between good and evil. They don't make that choice. So I do think they all go to heaven. That's what I think. All dogs go to heaven. That's what I think. Um, yeah. Oh, life is a gift. Yeah. Says they believe that too. Probably about the thing I talked about just before. Brooke says, my father-in-law had disabilities, heart problems, back problems, and he donated his body to Texas Tech. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, T. Rubright, I think of my life as if you roll a hand of dice, it plays out as it's meant to be. I feel God is seeing how we get through all the tests of life. Agreed. I think all the adversity we have, because I think of a lot of the bad times in my life, and also when I haven't listened to my gut and made some wrong decisions. I look at it now and like, well, yeah, it made me do things differently in my life. So I guess those things were meant to happen. But you know what I can't get out of my head is I'm gonna bring up a really controversial topic here, is babies. Like they were only meant to be here one day, if that, or I mean, I don't know. I still can't wrap my mind around that. Like, really, they signed up for one day, or did they just sign up for just the experience of being in the womb and never even being born? Like, what's that about? I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much we don't know. Maybe we're not supposed to know. Oh, yeah. Florence experienced the creepy stuff, the voice saying mama. Oh, yeah. So I should get back to that, right? Because that's how originally this conversation started. And something pulling my leg, not good. Oh, I completely agree with you, not good. And I think some negative energy from all the ghost shows kind of blasted into my bedroom. I really do think that. And so I don't I have rule of I don't watch that in my room anymore. And if I do watch that, I'll watch it for a little bit. Because I'm sorry, but I love the Dead Files. I love that show, The Dead Files. And I know that show got canceled. I think the medium that was on it, she had some health problems. And I don't know. I just loved that show. I thought the only thing I didn't like though at the end, and I've said this before, is they say all these things going wrong with the family and their house. And then they're just like, okay, well, find a shaman, find a priest. Um, you know, and people are just looking at them like deer in the headlights, like, okay, we'll do that. People don't know where to find a Reiki master or a shaman. Or, what if they're not Catholics? I always thought there should have been a follow-up show, like, okay, now what did the family do to get rid of all the negative demons and entities? So, but I still liked that show, but yeah. But the other thing I was going to say about that, besides hearing that voice in front of my face and someone pulling my leg up in the middle of the air, and I wake up and I'm like, someone's pulling my leg. That was bizarre. Um, was I've talked about this and I took the video down because someone I trust said, "Peep, you're gonna ruin your reputation. You might lose patience over this. Don't take that video down." So I did, but I'm gonna talk about it now because we're live. But when I was asleep and one morning when I woke up, you know how you wake up and and then you go back to sleep, and I did that, and I saw originally in my video I said I saw hieroglyphs behind my eyelids. But enough people commented because I said they weren't I know what hieroglyphs are. They were like letters that look like kind of like stick figures, like a Y and and the closest thing I said, it looked like when you see old Nordic writing. And then a bunch of people commented on that and said, you're seeing runes. And it's so weird because I was watching a video recently and the person was saying how like angels, and again, I haven't seen an angel. I'm just saying that this man in this video was saying he had an experience with angels and nope, I scratched that. The video I was watching was her name is, I don't want to get the name wrong. Deborah Geisman. Oh gosh, I hope that's not the wrong name. She has a YouTube channel, and I was listening to her, and she was talking about she had an experience with an angel, and they were sending her messages through runes. And I thought, oh my gosh, was I seeing runes? And then someone commented on my video. They're like, oh my gosh, I had that same exact thing happen, except they were rolling really fast. And I didn't say that on my video, but that is what happened because my eyes were closed and I see all these old Nordic letters, or okay, fine, runes now that I know. And it was like a slot machine. So, when a slot machine, the symbols tumble, like you hit the thing and then the symbols tumble and then it comes to a stand. That's what the letters look like. It was like a slot machine of tumbling letters, like moving so fast. And I was trying to pay attention to one and the other one would come. And it was so fast, yet my mind could see all of it. It's so hard to explain. And I have no idea what it meant. But then after that was over, I talk about this, I saw a barcode and it said like 0011011010, all these zeros and one numbers. And I just thought, I don't know. I still can't explain that. I took that video down because it sounds loopy. I know. But here's the thing too. It's the truth. I guess it could have been a remnant from a dream. And maybe like part lucid dream, maybe. Yeah, it could have been, but gosh, it's like they were runes. So, because now I've looked up runes, that's exactly what I saw. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but is there such a thing as an angel language or such a thing as communicating through runes? And because the closest information I got with that was her last name's Giesemann. She was in the military, and now she has videos about how she talks to angels or she communicates with angels or something. Okay, let's see what the comments are saying. Let's see. People are saying hello back. Karen, love your storytelling. Thank you. Catholic exorcist will help anyone. You don't have to be Catholic. Ooh, that's good to know. Do you write your experiences down in a journal? I used to. I have dreams from years and years ago, but now that I'm older, I'm like, it happens a lot. I don't write them down anymore because, again, I'm 56. I don't think I have a lot of time left on this planet. So I'm like, I don't need to write them down anymore, I guess. Let's see. Craig says, Karen, it's kind of weird with Kim taking a vacation. Oh, okay. So someone's having a conversation. That's fine. Paperclip, speaking in tongues. Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't speaking in tongues. I've seen videos on that, and I just put a big fat question mark on that because I don't understand that. But this was different. This was if you look up of old, not Stonehenge, but I'm going to say older than that, and there's writing on it that I think that's runes. Runes, yeah. So angel numbers. Someone said, yeah. Oh, angel numbers. So the 011 and the 0011. Yeah, and like I've said before, I have an obsession with Archangel Michael, and because I always thought, and I know nothing about him, but now I'm starting to read about him because I think it's fascinating. I've heard he's the angel for, oh God, correct me if I'm wrong, for, is it justice and no, is it freedom and love, justice and, oh gosh, I forget now. I am so sorry. If you guys know what his big thing is, but I thought he was a big, like one of the strongest, like a warrior type angel. And I can really vibe with that spirit because I very much have a warrior spirit. I don't get in fights. I don't box. And I don't mean that kind of warrior. I just mean like, I like to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves and help those that can't help themselves. So I don't know. Let's see. Paperclip. Oh, runes are ancient Germanic writing. If you look up runes, it'll tell you the alphabet. Yeah, I know. I've looked up the alphabet of runes and it looks like exactly what I saw in my dream. If only I knew what they were trying to tell me because the letters were going so fast. I mean, angels, if you're listening, if you're trying to tell me something like, I mean, are we supposed to do something? Get ready for November? Are the grocery stores going to be open? I shouldn't laugh because again, if you're if you're over 40, well, actually not. You could just be a teenager, right? Who ever experienced in our lifetimes the pandemic? Yeah. So we got through that, and that was the craziest time I ever remember, right? So what's coming next? I think something else is coming next. So um, I'm telling you what, are supernatural things picking up because the other side is trying to tell us something? I'm not afraid to die. I'm just putting out there, I'm not afraid to die. I know I'm gonna be with God when I'm gone. I did have a lucid dream once when I was flying and I was in this, like, I'll call it a building, and the light in there was so white. It was nothing but white walls, white floors, white ceiling. And then I flew in this other area, and it was like a not an atrium, but it was like a hallway that went straight up, and it was so white, and I was flying up and up and up. And then I got scared because it was like going too high. I'm like, I'm not ready to leave Earth yet. And then I woke up. Um, that doesn't mean I'm going to heaven. I'm just saying that I know I'm going to heaven because that's where I'm going. um, oh, the defender. So Michael the archangel is the defender. Yeah. Um, I think maybe I vibe with Michael the Archangel because, like I said, we did enter, let's just face it, 2020, or even maybe 2008, right? I think that's when the floor dropped out of the economy and everything was different since 2008. Um, and then 2020 ramped it up even more. And then we all got through that, sort of, right? I mean, I think we all have some battle scars from that, do we not? And now the division in this country, I think it's ramping up spirituality and the supernatural. The division in this country, like I tell you, with my patients, I cannot talk about politics, nor do I want to talk about politics with my patients. I'm not there to talk about politics. I'm there to help them. But I was talking to another doctor friend of mine today, and we were talking about how it's so divisive now that you can't even be in company where you're with friends because it's so divisive now. No one's going to say they're a liberal or a conservative. There's so much I want to talk about, and I just don't talk about it. So we're so divided, and I think it's like we got to buckle up. Like, hard times, they're coming, and whoever thought we would witness an assassination. I mean, do you know where you were when that happened? I know we happened to have the news on. We were watching TV and then we heard all the screaming. We ran to the TV and I was like, I guess I wasn't shocked because I just feel like the world is changing so fast and I'm not going to say we're because I'm not, but so many people are becoming so angry and violent and divisive. And I don't want to get anxious, sad, or depressed about that. I just think that, um, you can only control what you can control. So I just say, like, I'm trying to be there as much as I can at my work for my patients, make it as warm and loving and positive a place as possible and fun. And that's my advice. Like, be prepared, have what you need, put love and light out there, be there for your friends and family and neighbors. I'm so lucky that um, we know our neighbors now. For years, we didn't. But we all know our neighbors now, and it's good to know your neighbors because with these hard times, you can't do this alone. Um, so maybe reach out to a neighbor. You just put a note on their door in their box, like, "Hey, here's a good piece of advice." One of my neighbors put invitations in all the mailboxes in the neighborhood, and then we just had this like neighborhood party. We took turns, like they did the appetizer, another house did the dinner, another house did the dessert, and that's how we met the whole neighborhood. Because I don't know about other towns, but in Phoenix, it's really hard to meet your neighbors. Everybody stays inside. It's really hot out, and everyone's from somewhere else. It's not like that Midwest friendliness that I came from, but it's worth it to stick your neck out and meet your neighbors, no matter where you are. Okay. Let's see. Life is a gift. My own eldest daughter is 40 and a liberal, and we can't talk about politics. She won't listen to the truth. It's sad. I know. I listen, I have kids too. My older son, now that he's older though, he's like come around. But like he would always get mad at me, my husband and I, because he's like, yeah. I know you can't talk about politics with family because it just doesn't go well. I just can't talk about it with anyone except my husband. My husband and I are on the same page. We can talk to each other about it. And every day something else happens where we're like, yeah, is today the day everything falls apart? Yeah. No, I think it's like the frog in the pot. The water's boiling. No, the water's warm. The frog's like, oh, it's a little warmer. I'm okay. And then it gets a little hotter, a little hotter. And then by the time it's boiling, the frog's dead because it didn't pay attention to all the signs along the way. Okay. So Craig says, Dr. Andrea, I was in the Air Force when I had my first experience. In those days, you couldn't talk about it to anyone, let alone doctors. As a military member, they would kick you out. Yeah. Because I started healthcare in the 1980s. I know, long time ago. Oh no. If you couldn't talk about any of this stuff, are you kidding? I would have been fired. They would have been like, something's wrong with her. I think now that there's enough social media and YouTube channels of people talking about, especially those hospice channels, Hospice Nurse Julie, Hospice Hadley, thank you for paving the way, sticking your neck out and talking about the real. But no, there's other channels that talk about, like Dr. Medhus's channel, channeling Eric. So I think there's enough people talking about now that it's not as and especially if the news is admitting the military caught a triangle-shaped craft in the air. We have video of a craft diving into the water. Like if the news and media is admitting there's aliens, we have entered another time where you can actually talk about interesting things and not be fired from your job for being crazy. Okay. Let's see. Karen, we liberals believe you can't see the truth. That's the irony of it all. Hey, yeah, I mean, there's all parts of the political spectrum in my family. And I will tell you, I'm from the generation where you could, because I'm older, that you could talk about politics to someone else and it was a polite conversation and I would learn a thing or two or they would learn a thing or two. And it was a nice exchange because we were all on the same page. We're like, we want America to succeed. We're all Americans. I want to help my neighbor. I want my neighbor to have affordable insulin. I want my neighbor to access health. Let me just tell you, the healthcare system is broken, and I don't think either political party can fix it. I don't know. I have ideas, but we're not on that topic today. Oh my gosh, Switzerland. Beth from Switzerland is here. I've been to Switzerland too. It's beautiful. And hello, Switzerland. Good gracious, what time is it there? It is 7:46 p.m. in Arizona. Is it the morning there? Because I don't know. Okay, let's see. Jean, all the changes and things going on, it's all the told signs that we would see as the coming of our Lord and Savior. Yeah. Well, again, I try to be very open-minded. I think I'm going to be one of the ones that are left behind because I feel like I need to stay and help people. And I guess I'm okay with that. Valentina, yes, the society is so divided politically. It does make me anxious. It's very hard to get consensus. Agreed. I think that's why so many people have insomnia and anxiety for sure. That the moon will turn red. I don't even want to think about that. Dr. Andrew, rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Oh, rebuke that I'm staying. I'm going to be a left behind. Well, what about all the innocent people? Like, I don't want them to suffer. And if they need help, like, I feel like, here's the weird thing. Like, I had a calling to go into healthcare. I have a video about it. And, I don't know. I just feel like some of us need to stay behind and help people. Is that weird? Is that wrong? I don't know. Maybe I need to look into this more. I don't know. Because I very much believe in God and Jesus, and I know Jesus died for our sins, right? For sure. But I also feel like, well, why am I here? I'm here to help people. And I don't know. Still trying to figure it out. Okay. Loretta is 66. Sue is 66. Yeah. I tell you what, I feel like 60 is the new 40 because I'm 56 and I feel like I'm 26. So I think 60 is the new 40. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, and lots of people on this channel. We all remember our old America. I do miss it. I do. I used to play outside and ride my bike. That's why I love riding my bike as an adult, because I was in the generation that rode bikes. And but I didn't see that movie with the young people getting kidnapped. All the what is it, like a trafficking movie? I didn't see that because I don't think my heart could take it. I know it exists, but I can't watch it. What is that movie? I can't remember the name of it, but it's with Caviezel. Caviezel's the right? Yeah, he's the actor in it, and we didn't have to worry about that so much. I know every now and then it would happen, but God, were we free range kids or what? I think we had the best childhood, right? Yeah. Oh, 4:46 in the morning in Switzerland. What the heck are you doing up that early? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. The sign behind you. Oh, I know. I love collecting Western memorabilia. Where is it? Oh, which way am I pointing? That way. Yeah. Yeah. The Dead or Alive poster. I know. I don't have a lot of memorabilia. That's actually, these are actual real, that is a real kachina. That is a real kachina. Yeah. And then in this bowl, I have paperclip. If you're here, I have I have those real remnants that you gave me are in that bowl. I should display them. But so yeah, I love collecting Old West memorabilia because I live in the Old West and it's awesome. So, oh, Sound of Freedom. Thank you for whoever said that. Like, I can't bring myself to watch that movie. But again, those of us that are older, we remember the blessed childhoods we'd have of playing out all day, riding our bikes, not coming home till dark. And didn't it make us more resilient, brave, courageous? I tell you what, as soon as I hit, what was I, 19, I took my first backpacking trip to Europe. Like I was like, I'll figure it out. It's like, you know, it's very different now. Very different now. It makes me sad. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Is that a Marshall amp? Yes, it is. It is. It's like a little speaker. It's just a speaker. It's not. I guess it's not an amp. It's a speaker. So there's more amazing comments here. I should get. What time is it? How long have I been on this thing? But I feel like you guys are all still here, so I won't sign off yet because I figure it's Friday night. It's better than watching a movie, right? Someone. Oh, Billy the Kid Stomping Ground in New Mexico. Yeah. Here, Scott, do you take creatine, olive oil, or apple cider vinegar? Okay. Creatine. Okay, here's the thing with creatine. So we'll go science for a second. And if I see the numbers go down, I'm going to stop talking about science because I figure on my old medical videos, nobody cared. But you got to be careful with creatine. It can cause more kidney stones. So be careful with extra creatine. I like getting creatine from regular protein. And again, if you're older, you have to be careful with your protein intake so you don't stimulate IGF-1, because insulin growth factor, because that can stimulate the growth of cancer. So, you want enough protein to maintain muscle mass, but you don't want too much protein. So, okay, there's that. Olive oil. I love olive oil. If it's extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, omega-3s are so good for your brain because each cell is made up of a phospholipid bilayer of fat. And if that fat has healthy omega-3, healthy fat, creating the phospholipid bilayer, that way nutrients can get into the brain cell and toxins can come out. If you eat a lot of trans fats, that's bad for the brain cell, and nutrients can't get in, toxics can't get out, and then your risk of dementia goes up. Okay. And then what did you also? Oh, apple cider vinegar. I have the apple cider vinegar chewies gummies. So when I don't take my digestive enzymes, because again, if you're watching and you're not over the age of 45, yeah, then you probably don't need digestive enzymes. However, I would take them every now and then if pizza upset my stomach in my 20s, chewed on a digestive enzyme. It did wonders. I was like, where has this been all my life? But as an adult, I find I have to take digestive enzymes a lot. And apple cider vinegar, I'll sometimes take that in lieu of a digestive enzyme. So yeah, hope that answers that. So growing up in the city gives you sixth sense on danger. Agreed. Agreed. You can't deny street sense. Street sense? Street smarts. Sorry, street smarts. Can't deny the street smarts. You played from sun up to sundown. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, YouTube will cut me off at 2 hours. Am I on 2 hours? I don't even know how long this is because I feel like it's only been 15 minutes. But if it cuts me off, oh well, then I'll then bye. If it cuts me off, then I already said bye. I think only if you're not verified. But I don't know what that means. Oh, I think only if you're not verified, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Okay, Chris says, Matthew's gospel, where Jesus states that whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven either in this age or in the age to come, implying purgatory. So what does that mean? I don't know. Does that mean that I don't know what that means. Can you say what that means? Thank you. Because I am no expert, right? Patrick says, I was tracking, catching, killing our food or was in school. I had to learn to survive in the natural world as well as the subsidized system of man. Ooh, that's such a good way to say that. Yeah, exactly. If you deny the Holy Spirit, you go to hell. But if you feel bad about doing it, you still have the Holy Spirit in you. Huh. I think I was watching something on, again, YouTube, because, I'm a huge fan of YouTube myself. So I watch so many things, but on one of the videos, someone was asking if people in hell or souls in hell, do they ever get a chance to come out? And someone replied that if they pray or someone prays for them, that it's not forever and they can get out, which made me feel better because, that just seems awful. I don't know. I feel bad. So there's that. Okay. So my husband's not coming in the room. I know he was listening before, but maybe he went to the gym because he's starting to lift weights again because he knows it's important. He's the same age as me, and we are trying to maintain our strength and health. I have to tell you, since we were talking about a little bit of health, let's just throw in a little bit of health because I can't help it. It's so important to maintain your strength. This is a funny story. I was riding my bike, eating an ice cream cone. So I was really using my legs to pedal because I was concentrating on eating my ice cream cone. Well, anyway, I hurt my knee, right? For the next year, it was so hard to squat down or get in the car. And I got so weak. I was always tripping. Well, that was a couple years ago. Since then, been riding my bike, walking. I'm so strong now. I never trip now. So my advice is, if you don't like riding your bike, at least go out and walk. And you know what I tell my patients? And again, check with your own doctor. I'm not trying to give you medical advice. I am not treating you over YouTube. But what I tell my patients, just because I can talk about what I tell my patients, I tell them, because sometimes they're overweight and weak and they can't walk. I said, just don't join a gym. Just put on your favorite pair of shoes that are comfortable, put a watch on, leave your front door, and time it for 5 minutes. Maybe they only get to the end of the walk or their driveway. And then I said, leave for 5 minutes, 5 minutes on the watch. You can put the little stoplight. When it ends, you can turn around and come back. And I said, do that for a few days. And then after that, move up to 8 minutes and then 10 minutes, so on, as time goes on. And then by the third week, they might be on 12 minutes. And then you get stronger and stronger and stronger. You have to start somewhere. And as debilitated as some people might be, you can at least walk down maybe the hallway in your own house while you're holding on to, you can always start somewhere. Because don't we always say, oh, when I retire, I'll get in shape, or I don't know, whatever the thing is, when I do this, then I'll start getting in shape and walking. You better do it now, because it just gets worse. When you get injured or you get weaker, your risk of falling goes up. If you break a hip, the mortality goes way up because a lot of people get pneumonia and blood clots after they break a hip. So you just want to get strong is what I'm trying to say. And you can just start somewhere. Don't get intimidated by all the videos you see or joining a gym. Just start somewhere. That's my advice to my patients. You can ask your own doctor about that. Let's see more of the comments here. So Scott says trapped souls need to recognize they are dead. Then they can go to the light. Well, that makes sense. I need help. I have osteoporosis. Oh, Loretta. Um, there's so much. I have like a 2-hour video, or is it an hour and a half? I talk about osteoporosis and the studies that have come out. Um, but what I will say that's not, what can I say that is not, I have to be careful because I am a licensed doctor and I don't want to be like treating over YouTube, but um in generalities, what we know about osteoporosis is B12. People over the age of 55 need more B12, and menopausal women need more B12. And so I tell my patients about supplementing with a high quality B12 like methylcobalamin, especially if they carry the MTHFR gene, because they can't metabolize and absorb cyanocobalamin, the traditional B12 that you get in the drugstore. So there's that. The injectable kind is better. If my patients can't get that, they do the sublingual kind of B12. Strength training exercises, and that's why I tell my patients, you got to start somewhere and get stronger. Calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium all need to be in the presence of each other to be absorbed. I'm very, very careful with dosages because too much vitamin D is not good. Because it does help absorb calcium, and you don't want to get calcium in your arteries or hardening of the arteries or plaques from calcium in the arteries. So, but calcium and vitamin D and magnesium all need to be together because they all help each other with absorption. So I tell my patients that. I tell them the exact dosages to be on. Okay, we're going off topic, and I notice the numbers are going down. So we'll get off medicine for a minute. But you know what, you guys, I'll probably do another video on osteoporosis in the future. But I have one in my past. If you go in my old videos, there's a whole video about osteoporosis. Okay. Chris says, I know a lot about Catholicism because of my upbringing, but no longer attend mass. I attend Bible-based Christian church where I study directly from the Bible. Yeah. I think that's interesting. I have the and then life is a gift. I have the MTHFR gene. Also, my daughter and my hubby does. We have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Oh yeah. So then you know what I'm talking about when I say you have to have, or not you, but people with MTHFR have to have the methylated B and the special kind of methyl tetrahydrofolate, right? Not just folic acid. Okay. Oh, it's been 2 hours and I'm still here. They didn't cut me off. Okay. You guys, if you want to do a thumbs up or a heart, I'll just keep going. It's Friday night. I'm going to keep going for a little bit and then I'm going to eat a salad. So if I see thumbs up and a heart, I'll stay on for a bit. Okay. So, originally why I got on this video tonight was to talk about also more of the mysteries around the house. Oh, good. There's some feedback. I'll stay on for a little bit. It's only 8:00 here in Arizona. I don't know what time it is where you all are at, but I'll tell you another story that happened in my house. And then, yeah, I don't know if he's home. The lights are off in the other room. I wanted him to come in here. So when one of my children were a little baby, we were in the kitchen and he had this like red ball and it was like out of air and it was in the kitchen. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to find an air pump. So I put the red ball up on the kitchen counter and it was like half deflated. And then he's crawling around the floor somewhere. I go in the other room because I'm trying to find that air pump. I come back in the kitchen and we do have a skylight in our kitchen where light comes in. And this sounds so weird. It was all sparkly in the kitchen. Like the light looked all sparkly. And I kid you not, the ball was completely full. That happened. A true story. I know it's not very paranormal, but how weird is that? It's so weird. And I did get the intuition that my dad was in the room. I just got that. I've had that 3 times. The other 2 times is when I was driving and the hair on the back of my neck stood up and I had chills. And I just felt my dad's present. And that's only happened 3 times in my life. But that one where all of a sudden the ball was God, the light coming down from the atrium. That's what I'll never forget from the skylight. It just looked like everything was very illuminated and sparkly. And I looked over at the ball and the ball was completely full. And nobody was around to witness it. And it's a weird story, but that happened in this house. And then in another time, I don't know if it was the same day, what? This has only happened when I was wide awake walking around once. I'm looking over here because that's the way I get to my kitchen. I'm walking through the living room there, going into the kitchen, and I was like stopped. Because you know how you stop and you're like, you forget why you went into a room? I stopped, and in my ear, I hear, "Hi." I know. It wasn't evil. It wasn't weird. It was like a almost like the sound of the voice had like a bell tone to it, like a ringing sound, like, "Hi." I can't even do it. Like, "Hi," like a friendly hi, almost like a Sprite. Like, not the drink Sprite, but like what I imagine Tinkerbell or a Sprite would sound like. I know that sounds weird. Um, but that the only other time I've heard voices like that is like when you're half awake, half asleep. And like one time I heard my dad yell my name really loud and I was like, "Ah!" And then I was wide awake. That did happen. But walking around being completely conscious and not in between sleep and wake sight, I heard a little high in my ear. That's some more interesting things that have happened around this house. Oh yeah, Scott, I smell smoke sometimes from my parents' cigarettes. Yeah, I did a video on that too. That I smelled smoke in our bedroom, and I think it was our deceased family member. And that was driving me crazy because I was running all around the house. Where's that cigarette smoke coming from? I even went outside. I was going to yell at the neighbors, like, "Your smoke is coming into my house." It wasn't coming from anywhere. So and by the way, you can smell smoke too for other medical reasons like a stroke, a sinus infection, a neurological problem. Uh, but I wasn't having any of that. I wasn't having a stroke and or a neurological problem or a sinus infection. So yeah. Um, let's see, Chris. I think we Christians are all on the same side. We try to do what gives us peace for sure. But I am going to include, I always say Judeo-Christian because again, being raised Jewish, I know what went on beyond closed doors. And there's no difference. I'm sorry, there's just no difference because I'm married to a Catholic now. And again, attending Christian church and then again, growing up Jewish, it's like, there's no difference. We all believe in God, the Abrahamic religions, right? So we're all in one big boat together. That's what I think. Neolog. Well, thank you. Thank you about that. That's originally why I started my channel was because, my channel kind of connected to my website where, when I started my practice in 2009, because I was working at an endocrinology clinic, seeing lots of patients, and I guess I wasn't seeing enough patients for them. They wanted me to get through like, I don't know, 30 patients an hour. I just couldn't do that because I'm a talker. I need like an hour with a patient. Yeah, they didn't like that. So I opened my own practice in 2009. And so I started this YouTube channel to, get patients and get to know me, schedule, or I put stuff about my website on it. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. And but that's what I like watching on YouTube also is I like watching things about spirits and ghosts and haunted things. Yes, Shelley, I love my Jewish friends. Right? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Renee, I used to smell my dad's cigar smoke when I felt his presence. He passed away many years ago. Oh my gosh. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, some cigars can smell so different than each other. So when you smell that unique cigar smoke, if it was your loved one. Yeah. Thanks, Patty. Thank you. Yeah, I've got a lot of old medical ones. I do. I used to smell my past father's pipe smoke. Oh, yeah. Oh, and pipe smoke definitely has a unique smell, does it not? I don't know anybody who smells a pipe now, smokes a pipe now, but when I was a kid, I remember a lot of our neighbors did. It's like, I guess that's not a thing anymore, huh? Alligator Horse says, my neighbor said she smells cherry tobacco in her house. The man that lived there and died in the house smoked cherry cigars. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, well, my throat is starting to hurt. because I'm talking so much. Um, so I will, as we end here, everybody have a good weekend and a Friday night. This was a what do I call it? This was an experiment to see if anybody would show up to this Friday live chat. So I think on Friday nights, this will be a thing because Friday nights, I usually just like, watch movies or YouTube, but I'll have a topic each Friday night. Um, Sorry if I was all over the place, but it was still very interesting. And I am learning so much from your comments on my videos and in this live chat um, because I don't know a lot of things about religion, but I'm trying. Okay, everyone. Thank you again for being here. And some people are here at midnight. Oh, goodness. And okay, so I'll see you on the next video. I think I'll post again on Sunday, but I'll see you back here live on Friday night. Okay, good night, everyone. Bye.